The new MGMA data is out, the 2024 data set. Hey everybody, it's John with Contract Diagnostics, and a quick message today, as quick as I can, about the data. We are still analyzing it here at Contract Diagnostics. 211,000 providers took the survey, which is a lot, but if you compare that to how many actual providers are out there, it's about 13% of the total. So I don't know how representative it is of you in your situation, in your story, but as we analyze the data, there's some initial numbers that we want to throw out there and run by everybody. So primary care up again this year, 4.4% in total compensation. Surgical specialists were up 4.2%, but non-surgical specialty physicians were up 1.8%. Now, the couple of initial things that we've seen, of course, the consumer price index was up 3.4% last year. So, primary care and surgical specialists paced with inflation last year. Non-surgical specialists who don't perform procedures and surgeries, did not pace with core inflation. And of course, it's up 21%. CPI is since 2019, since pre-pandemic. So out of all those, most people are not keeping up with inflation. So those are the average numbers. I will ask you to yourself, what did you take extra last year from your compensation? Anything? Nothing? Or did you go down in pay? And of course, every situation, every story is different. These are just general and global numbers. We also know that APPs were a big part of the survey this year, as they were last year, and they were up 6.4%, 16.3% in total since 2019. So APPs have been trending very, very well the last 2 and 3 years, and we continue to see that trend trending 50% higher in terms of the raise, if you will, or the amount extra that they earned in 2023 than 2022. Remember, the 2024 data is based on 2023 numbers. So they tend to take data, it takes them a long time to capture it, then they analyze it, then they start to put it in and report it. By the time they package it and get it out for distribution, it's around May or June. I'm recording this at the end of May. We've had our data here for about a week, and we're still analyzing it and doing all the research to report back to everybody on a very routine and urgent and near-term basis. So feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to discuss what your specialty did this year in terms of numbers, increases, decreases, and everything else. But the data overall, nurse practitioners shined again for the second year in a row. We did see an increased RVU. So again, physicians and nurse practitioners are making more, but they're also having to see more people. They're having to do all of this with less and reduced staff. And one of the big call outs that we've seen so far is that the hospitals, the facilities, the administrators managed to have this happen in spite of a very big staffing challenge. The labor market has not been good the last few years, and I think everybody knows that, which is why, as we look to 2024 trends, what is everybody focusing on? They're focusing on labor. They're focusing on hiring. It also says, a prediction for this next year, that new technologies, new skill sets will be needed, and incorporating a level of artificial intelligence this year will continue to innovate and pace the growth for not only production, but hopefully salaries as well. So that is a rough snapshot on what we've seen from MGMA initially. We will continue to analyze the data here, but I'll tell you this, the MGMA is just a number. So if you called us and said, what's the number for me and my specialty? Well, there's a whole lot of numbers. There's median, there's of course the 10th and the 25th and there's all these different numbers, the 90th percentile. But they have them for your state, your minor geographic region, your geographic region, and then the national numbers. So which one of those is relevant to your situation? They also have hospital-based employment, but they also have under 250, over 250, over $1 million. So if you're in a hospital over $1 million, what number should you use? Over the $1 million? Hospital-based employment, where should you look to your number? What number does your employer use? Or do they use a bunch of different numbers? So there's lots of different ways that you can take and you can cut up your number, if you will. But that's why we think that the story matters. So I don't think you can look at one number for a surgeon and say this is fair, this is not. This is 75th percentile, you're paid well or you're not. Because call matters, and call 1 and 3 As you've all heard me say much in the past, call 1 and 3 is much different than call 1 and 6 or call better than that. Call being paid or not paid may or may not be relevant in the discussion. So there's a lot of things that make a number important or not. There's, of course, no conversion factors in MGMA. So if you look at the MGMA data, it won't say the conversion factor for the cardiologist in Illinois was $61 per each. It'll say there's a comp to RV ratio. There is no number that says what the conversion factor is. It only says what the ratio is. So how many RVUs did they do and how much money did they make in total, which takes into account total compensation. So adding quality bonuses, call pay, nurse practitioner supervision, all of that. So the number might be different from a conversion factor in the contract versus a comp ratio in a MGMA data set. So I say this because looking at the numbers, looking at the data, if you have it, is one thing, but analyzing it and looking at it with your particular frame in mind, with your particular story, with your employer story, and everything else there in the market is a custom analysis that is very important you could have done. We can do that here for you at Contract Diagnostics if you need, or if you give us a call, we have a free inquiry call on our website. We can walk you through ways to look at the data and maybe potentially how to analyze it yourself if you'd like to. But at any rate, we're here to help with anything, and I am John, and we will continue to report on MGMA data as we analyze it every single day over the next few weeks. Stay tuned, and we'll be having out more information soon.